Hey everyone, I'm excited to kick off the first Friday Flows of 2024. And today I'm going to focus on a customer story. So we'll take a look at how a current customer of Tines is using the platform to really empower the core of their automation strategy going into 2024 here. And it's a cool story. I'm excited about it because it's going to make me update my background here, which is tough to read backwards. It says no code automation for security teams. And I need to update that here as we go into 2024 because it's not just security teams. And we're going to take a look at, in particular, how Intercom is using Tines today. And it's primarily their IT team who is using Tines. And they're using it for security workflows, but they're also using it for a number of IT or infrastructure, engineering related automations as well. So if you don't know Intercom, they are a software company that combines an AI chatbot, help desk, proactive support to provide businesses with a way to chat and engage with their customers. And their director of IT, Emmanuel Sparvoli, needed a solution for his team to be able to automate workflows freely and securely. They went with an initial solution actually a few years ago, even took a look at Tines, but didn't think it was the right solution at the time. And they chose another popular automation tool, Workato, and quickly started building out workflows using their recipes. After about a year or so, they found that the pricing structure restricted the team's ability to build, and the platform's lack of robust change control capabilities became a growing concern. So they decided, they wanted to take a fresh look at the automation market and see if they could find a platform that would scale with the workflows they wanted to build out. And they already had dozens of high-value workflows that they were going to need to migrate over to whatever new automation platform they selected. These included business processes like managing forwarding rules in Gmail, syncing users from Workday to Okta, and automating hardware issue reporting and response. So for a long time there, they've had this goal to empower the company to automate their own processes without necessarily having to wait on engineers who have the bandwidth. However, previously when they were getting requests, it was a constant question for IT that would that automation be worth paying another, extra X number of dollars for it? And that's a hard thing to figure out when you don't necessarily have all of the context for how important that automation is or how it would impact the business. So they started looking at new automation platforms. They saw what they liked from Tines and kicked off a POC. Emmanuel and his team worked with the engineers here at Tines to initially focus on a pretty complex user lifecycle management workflow. And what they found is they were able to rebuild that very successfully within Tines and actually take what was 15 recipes and turn it into a single Tines story. And throughout that POC process, they continued to find this common theme where not only were they able to pretty seamlessly migrate into Tines stories, but as they were doing that migration, they were actually simplifying how those automations were built and making it easier for their team to handle requests and triage alerts and things like that. So one example is the way that their automations were previously built was very heavy on Slack bot integrations or Microsoft Teams bot integrations. However, the over-reliance on chatbots was actually increasing the team's alert fatigue, not reducing it. And so they've converted a lot of those workflows into Tines pages, which they say is several orders of magnitude easier for their IT team to manage. And they've gone on to migrate dozens of stories. Some of the top use cases that they've now built out with Tines are one around this employee lifecycle management. They have a cool workflow that will ingest a JSON report from Workday for all of their workers. And then it uses the AWS Redshift API to make SQL queries to the Redshift database to process any changes of HR data coming from Workday, and then go on to execute all sorts of complicated user lifecycle managements, the user lifecycle automations in Okta. Another story they've built out is around hardware issue reporting. So this is around automating responses to on-site hardware issues. So say, for example, I'm sitting here and I recognize that the webcam that I'm recording on is actually broken. They have a QR code option there that will bring me to a Times page where I can go in and self-report that issue, and they can send out someone to take a look at that issue and help solve it. Another workflow is around access request management. So again, this is something that was previously done via a Slack bot. They've gotten rid of that Slack bot altogether, and it's simply a time story now without any need for human interaction, which has reduced some of the workload on their IT team. And then lastly, they have built out a story around security alert notifications. And this one's particularly cool because it actually lives in the Times story library. So Lucas Cantor, their staff engineer for information systems, published to the community page within the story library the story that they've built and used to handle malware alerts here. So if you go to community, you type in CrowdStrike or any of these other tools that are part of the story, it will come here and it will pop up, and you can see that Lucas built this story. And it's quite cool. It receives a webhook from CrowdStrike, determines the severity of the issue, goes in and traces the relevant employee through Uminsa, and requests more information from that employee via Slack. And then, depending on the information that the employee provides, if it's something that needs to be addressed, it will automatically send out to PagerDuty. It will send a PagerDuty alert and get a security practitioner on call that can go solve the issue. So pretty cool one. This is again, because it's in the story library, you can down here go ahead and import this into the tenant if it's something that would be valuable to you, and start to play around and make changes to it for your environment. So really cool work what Intercom is building out here. Emmanuel is saying, you know, the future of Intercom's future is being built out on Times in terms of how they're thinking about building out their automation strategy, not just for, you know, internal IT use cases, but how they interact with security teams and infrastructure teams and engineering teams. It's helping bring all of these teams together to solve these issues as we get further into, as we kick off the new year. So if you want to read more about this case study, you can head over to the Times page for customers and case studies. There's a beautiful full case study here with more details that you can read through. And as always, I'll post this in the LinkedIn page and post to the story as well. So great way to kick off the new year, and excited to get Friday Flows back and rolling. See y'all next time.